I achieved a tremendous amount of success, but what I realized is in collaborating with a community, you could do so much more.
There are 7 million homes needed in the US, speaking about affordable housing. I think it's an incredible good investment, great assets. Most of the parks that are here in Florida, we visit them this weekend. So when I talk to investors, I always ask them, what are you looking for? For incredible, great returns. Some people even talk about sometimes I'm getting 50, 60%, and this is not for you. No investment you have done in your life has become a good investment thinking that you're gonna make that kind of return. You wanna live here or you wanna make money here? That's different. Probably this is to have an incredible life, right? But maybe you get your money on the other side of these things.
So when we're buying these mobile home parks, the goal is not to go out and buy like in the countryside, but to find, instead of like we were talking about just finding a piece of land, finding these parks in the middle of where infrastructure and development is happening. The roads will be paved throughout the entire park so people could drive through. Lights, they're working on utilities. And then I don't know, did you guys see on the back end, there was an extension built on one of the mobiles? So that's one that's being renovated. Let's go to the next one.
The municipalities, they're not allowing parks to be built no more. So whatever exists and whatever you can buy is the way it is. This really is your only level of affordability. Beyond this,
So here we are at one of the properties that's being remodeled. This is going to go under the Section 8 program. It's a 4-bedroom house under Section 8. The government specifically with this one will pay $3,200 a month, and it's going to be 100% covered by Section 8. They approve the amounts, but not every house is 100% covered. Sometimes they cover 70% of the rent. Sometimes they cover 80% of the rent. Sometimes they cover 90%. In this case, based on the income that this resident generates, who's going to move in here, she qualifies where they pay 100% of her rent.
Wow.
Now, you imagine getting a check
From the government.
and you know that predictably and consistently, you know you're getting that check every single month.
One of the questions that investors have is like, okay, who assures me that I'm gonna be receiving the rent? In this particular case, the government.
Oh, there you go. Sometimes people have this like misconception and they think, oh, it's government subsidized occupant. Do I really want to be dealing with those kind of properties? We're in an area here of middle income class neighborhoods, and you will not always be able to tell if that's an owner occupant or if that's a tenant. Some of these tenants, for example, on this property here, she's a nurse. She's a single mother, 3 kids, and the government subsidizes as she continues to go through further education to get additional qualifications. And then her goal, hopefully at some point in the future, maybe 5 years from now, who knows, slowly to like wean off the program. But in the meantime, she's gonna be a great resident. She works very hard. So just because you're on some of these government subsidized programs, that doesn't mean that, hey, I don't wanna like deal with that type of a resident. Here's what I love about it. We feel good because we get to provide good quality housing
To hardworking people.
and we have government on our side that says, okay, in exchange for that, here's a guarantee check.
A lot of people that we talk to, for example, in Mexico, they want to invest in Texas, something closer to them so they can go and take a look, so they can know if they have problems collecting the rent, so I can go and try to do something by myself. But people is not really thinking as an investor. And if you're thinking something like this, man, your rent is going to be covered. Okay, so you don't really need to be close to the property. And I invite people to think out of the box because
100%.
everybody's thinking on Houston, on Dallas, in Austin, San Antonio, McAllen. Everybody's going to the same place, and that's why nobody's really making any money. I always talk about niches. This country is so big. There are so many niches, little niches like this. If you get 10% of a niche like this, you have already transgenerational wealth for decades.
If the camera can catch my hands, does it look like I really use a hammer? You have to be smart as an investor. And the thing that I've learned in my career is build your team, build a solid infrastructure of people that you surround yourself with, and your primary focus should be on asset accumulation. There's infrastructures and teams that can help you do this kind of stuff. But as you said, there's niches across the United States, and the primary objective for any investor is properties need to cash flow from day one. Let's go for a quick tour on the inside so you get a chance to see what a 4-bedroom house looks like on a Section 8 program. Here's what we want to do to these types of properties. One, make them aesthetically pleasing. The one thing that we will not do is you'll notice in any of the properties, there's no carpets. Carpets are cheaper, but in the long run for a landlord or an investor, as you have turnover, you're gonna have more wear and tear, and you're gonna have to turn that stuff. This is a property that was already remodeled previously. Tenant moved out, was in here for a couple years. Now, the turnover is pretty simple. This is already tile floor that's been here for years. We don't have to change this, just needs to be cleaned. The house needed to be repainted. A brand new kitchen was put in. This thing just needs to be cleaned. Living space, laundry room. Here's the bedrooms that we have. 1 bedroom here. This is a 4-bedroom house. We will put in kitchens and in bathrooms. Here is a vinyl plank floor, water resistant flooring. And this is great. It withstands good wear and tear, costs a little bit more, but this is not stuff that you have to constantly change. So this ideally is what we like to put in like bathrooms and in kitchens. This property here, the tenant moved out 3 days ago, and within like a couple days, we'll be able to get this thing turned over. 1 bathroom here, 2nd bedroom, 3rd bedroom, and 4th bedroom. Come in, do some touch-ups with paint, clean. Next tenant, $3,200. We're good to go.
And you can think of a single mother with 3 kids. I mean,
this is a
everybody
beautiful
has
house.
their own room.
Yep.
Very good location, very close to downtown. And actually, the area feels very safe. That's
Yes.
very important also, because if she's with the 3 kids, they want to go around the street or whatever in their bikes or whatever, it feels very safe. Huge backyard, so they can do anything over there.
The key is when a property is being remodeled to make sure that it can withstand the wear and tear of a tenant. So
Yes.
you'll notice, like from flooring, we don't put, like when a tenant walks in and they take a look at these countertops, they're like, oh wow, this looks really nice. It's not the cheap Home Depot countertops that start to deteriorate. This is like a quartz that can withstand a lot of wear and tear. So from the tenant's perspective, they walk in and they're like, this looks beautiful. It makes people happy.
Take care of the house.
Take care of the house. The bonus for us is we don't have to keep changing this stuff. Okay, so this is a 3-bedroom. This will be on the Section 8 program. And on a 3-bedroom voucher, a tenant will be approved anywhere between like $2,500 and $2,800. Let's say we have 5 applications. 1 applicant, their voucher is approved for $2,500, and then we have another applicant and their voucher is approved for $2,800. One would automatically assume that you're gonna take the $2,800, right? Because that's $300 more a month, but not necessarily. I would rather take someone that I know is going to be here long-term and who comes as a strong referral over the person that is maybe a little bit weaker as far as their reference and how long I know they're gonna live here for. Because think about this. If I have someone that moves in here and they're $2,800 and then a year later they move out, then you gotta do a turnover. You're not gonna necessarily move someone out and then immediately move someone else in. You're probably going to lose a month. So are you really making that $2,800? If I have that person for $2,500 and I know that they're going to be here for the next 5 years and I give gradual increases, the math over that long run would show that I'm better off taking the individual who looks like, perceived that the income is going to be less today. But in actuality, when you do the math over the long run, and you take into consideration turnover, probably better off with a better qualified tenant. We were talking about like flooring. This is a perfect example of the water resistant vinyl plank flooring. Section 8 tenant comes in here, they look at this instead of carpet, and they're like, wow, this is like beautiful. It looks like hardwood floor. The reality is it's not hardwood floor, but it has that look. It's scratch resistant, water resistant. This floor here was put in 10 years ago. Some landlords make as we were talking about earlier, make the mistake of, let me put the carpet in. It's cheap. And then after 2 years, they got to change it. And then possibly after 2 years, they have to change it again. Within a 10-year period, they might change carpet 3, 4, or 5 times. Whereas I put this in once. This could probably last another 10 years, possibly. Even though the upfront expense is a little bit more in the beginning, the type of materials and the things that you use to really make a home, let's call it tenant-proof, you're better off spending the money at the very beginning in the long run. And visibly, it also looks better. Now, here, I want to show you this shower. Same type of flooring here in the bathroom. And then look at the shower. From a tenant perspective, when they look at this, they're absolutely wowed. Why are we doing it? Number one reason, yes, we want to make sure that we get a tenant that appreciates what is being done to a home. And aesthetically, it looks very pleasing. At the same time, instead of putting cheap material, the durability of building this kind of a tiled shower, I mean, this is probably something that will at least last us another 20 years. We built this shower prior to this one tenant moving in. Here, she just moved out a couple days ago, and if you look at it, it still looks brand new. It still looks pristine. Okay, on to the next project. So here's a perfect example. This one, completely raw. We have to start from scratch, right?
Yeah.
The old floor was removed. Most of these have like the old terrazzo flooring.
Epoxy or something.
Yeah. So, but we'll put the resistant vinyl plank, scratch resistant flooring here. Paint the house.
In some cases, we have to redo the walls.
This kitchen's been completely gutted. So we're actually going to remove this and then re-drywall it before we put the new kitchen cabinets and then a new backsplash, new lighting. The one good thing here is at least you look at this tile floor.
Yeah.
We're not gonna have to do anything with this tile floor. But here, like in this case, it's easier to just re-drywall this. So then sometimes what we'll do is we'll go into a property, and if on a, let's say a 4-bedroom government subsidized house, we can get approximately like $3,200. Whereas if it's a 3-bedroom, it might be $300, $400, $500 less. So if we have the ability to add an extra bedroom to a house, we'll do it, because in the long run, that could equal thousands of dollars extra in cash flow. The other thing, very simple, doesn't really cost that much. If you take a look at this wall, right? What we're going to do, it's not a load-bearing support wall. So we're gonna cut all along, all the way down, remove the wiring, and completely open up the space. It's gonna give you this really nice, open living area, kitchen space, and just aesthetically, it'll look so much nicer. It's gonna look so much like bigger.
Yeah.
And to do that kind of stuff, it doesn't take much, but it goes a long way as far as getting your ideal type of renter.
So for the people that is interested in remodeling homes to get an investor visa, not everything is in the woodlands in Houston.
Yeah. Painting done here, flooring we're gonna need some lighting. Typically what we do in the Section 8 properties is we put ceiling fans.
Yeah, and I was just talking to the crew, and they were telling me most of the times when they get a home that we're gonna get a new people to live here, they get new lighting. They focus so much on having good lights on all the house, because that brings a different vibe, you know?
And then if you notice, we use the same color schemes, neutral. Some landlords will go in and paint different color bedrooms. No, we will take this color, every single house. It's all uniformly done. The bathrooms, the kitchen, second project, third project. We're gonna do some before and afters. But this bathroom here, remove this, cut the drywall underneath, get rid of any like rot. Probably a big mistake that I see landlords make too is when you see like rotten like wood or subflooring, they hide it, they mask it.
Yeah.
All that does is accelerate and exacerbate the problem. So just cut it out, do it right, make it solid, then lay your floor, your base floors, and just do everything right. You're better off in the long run. Same thing here, new flooring, new closet doors, fans.
This is not fix and flip. So if you want to do a long-term investment, you have to have also a long-term mentality. In the decisions you make on the maintenance, it has to be long-term.
It's a very good point that you bring up, because there is a big difference between fix and flip, what you do to a property, and the quality and the amount that you put into it, and then what you do to have a long-term tenant. There's a huge difference.
Yep.
But you don't want to go too extreme. So when you're doing fix and flips, some people are trying to go like very high end where they put way too much in the property. True wealth is built in retaining the asset. Okay, now having said that, because you're holding on to these assets long-term, you still want to do good quality. Some landlords will go from the high-end fix and flip to the low end of the spectrum and just do like patchwork. And in the long run, it's just going to cost them more money.
Exactly.
On the exterior, as opposed to just cutting out a piece here and replacing this soffit, this is wood. You know what? Change the entire thing. Just do it right to begin with. And then what we'll do is we'll put vinyl soffit and fascia, and that'll protect the new wood that's underneath, and you won't have to do it again.
Exactly. Let's do it right first.
Do it right first. All right, guys, so we ended off the weekend. We had an awesome opportunity to go take a look at not only the parks, but the houses. And we gave you a little bit of a strategy as to like why we buy the houses that we buy, why we use the program like Section 8, government subsidized housing, the strategy behind that, what I've done as a landlord and investor for almost 30 years in investing. You got a chance to really see the predictability and the consistency, right? As we took you through the homes, we explained to you guys why we use the materials that we use in remodeling the homes, why we rent them out at the amounts that we're able to rent them out for, the size of the homes, how we're able to partner with government subsidized programs, using the government as our partner in making sure that we get consistent, predictable paychecks. That's the key. You don't have to do this on your own. Aside from doing this as a collective group, we talked about the IRS being your tax partner, and we talked about government programs and agencies being your partner and helping you to build wealth. So it's not just a network of a community, it's also the different agencies that exist. We've used that together. We talked about why Section 8 housing makes sense, how you can generate consistent, positive cash flow. For those that never had the opportunity to come, I want to see you here so we can take you through the properties. But in the meantime, we hope you enjoyed the video. Buying America, sign up, become part of our community, become part of building wealth, not just for you, but for the next generation.